Just close your eyes. Know the peace within. This joy is beginningless and endless. This joy is totally independent. This joy is ever here. This joy is beyond movements. This joy is beyond identifications. This joy is beyond time. This joy is beyond space. You can know this joy only by going inwardly. Just now, this joy is beyond matter. This joy is beyond object. It is your own subject. You contain the joy already. But not aware of it. As your full attention is only outward, not inward. You can't miss it. Because the entire object arises out of it. You can miss the object, but not the subject in you. Now, you start knowing the peace within. By knowing the peace within constantly, you will come to know the joy also along with peace. How can you miss it when it is already within you? You contain it. Still unable to explore it and be with it. To that extent, you are conditioned to remain ignorant about yourself. You never go inwardly to find out the treasure within you. Always moving outward through identifications and get trapped continuously. Seldom you go inward. Till you go inward and stabilize there, it is impossible to know the true joy in you, the unending peace in you. You are searching for this joy and peace outwardly, unknowingly. I take you deeply, inwardly, to the source. You can get to know the source only through this joy and peace. Your consciousness wakes up only through this joy and peace. But for joy and peace, wakefulness is not possible. Because this joy and peace are not movements, they are beyond movements. Truth is also beyond movement. Only by going inwardly, stabilizing inwardly, settling inwardly, your consciousness wakes up. Whenever you know the peace within, whenever you know the joy within, know your consciousness remains wakeful. Wakefulness is not a word. Wakefulness is beyond word. You remain free, totally, through this wakefulness. Whenever you identify and remain struggled, you are not wakeful, though eyes are open. So throughout the waking state, you are not wakeful, though your eyes are open, because your focus is always outside. Without stabilizing inwardly. So initially, you need to go inward and settle inwardly so that you can observe outside peacefully, joyfully, without identifications, without struggling. Closing eyes may look simple, but you are transcending the duality by closing eyes as you are one with the space. By closing eyes, even space is within you. You are more than space just now. So whatever that appears, happens within space are no more here. Inwardly, you are more than space, more than the matter, more than the universe, more than the cosmos, more than the world. This you can know only by going inwardly. Once you know your greatness, your highest potential, beyond duality, then you remain cool. Inwardly you cannot get disturbed. Inwardly you cannot get disturbed because there's no object. The source of entire manifestation is within, only its expression is outside. Once you settle down inwardly, expressions cannot affect you. Every object is the expression of your subject. Your subject remains unaffected by any object arising out of it. You are yet to know the source within, the source of entire manifestation, the source of entire space, the source of everything perceived within space. So constantly you identify and get struggled, you identify and get tensed, you identify and get frustrated. What else are you doing here? There's no solution for your sufferings because there's no suffering at all. At the surface level, it looks everything is real. So you get depressed, get tensed, get frustrated. My question is, where do they all happen? But for your consciousness. Whatever perceived within space, you describe, debate, and get stuck also. My question is, where do they all happen? I'm taking you to the source, but you are suffering at the surface. Where do they happen? Unless you are conscious. You never know that you are conscious, first of all. So the chance of knowing that everything is by your consciousness is also very, very rare. So the fundamental principle, the fundamental essence itself is missing within you. Note this. You are describing only about the events. You do not know from where they all happen. Whatever you talk about, whatever you describe about, from where they happen, I am taking you to the source. It is your consciousness out of which everything is happening just now. You neither know what this consciousness is, nor know what is all these happenings. So, throughout the waking state, everything looks a mystery to you as you are yet to explore the truth within you. First, know that you are conscious of yourself. That's the first fundamental basic. As I am conscious of myself. In your consciousness only, you know that you exist, and you know that everything that is existing around you, everything that is appearing around you, everything that is happening around you. But for your consciousness, neither your presence is known. You do not know that you exist if you are not conscious. Nor you know any object here. Unless you are conscious, how can you perceive anything? So the very, very, very essential fundamental factor is I am conscious of myself. By remaining conscious of yourself, you are settling down at the source level itself, where there is no movement. And there is no movement, there is no thought, there is no emotion, there is no disturbance. Then you start knowing the endless peace and infinite joy, not otherwise. Only by remaining conscious of yourself, you can get to know the source of everything is out of your consciousness only. This may look simple and easy, but everyone finds so difficult to go inward and settle there, because to that extent you are trapped by whatever that is perceived. Nobody teaches you to go inward deeply. Only a realized takes you to the deeper core, beyond divisions, beyond duality. Instead of worrying and debating about all occurrences within space, why not you go inward and find out from where it happens? Then you become so cool, calm, peaceful, because it is happening out of your consciousness, it's not somewhere else. Like how you are in deep sleep, Spontaneously, some dream happens, and you are inside the dream, suffering, struggling, moving here and there in search of something. You remain tensed throughout the dream. When? Till when? Till you wake up. Inside the dream, it looks everyone is moving here and there, and all are separate from you, and everything looks real. Only when you wake up, you find out that the entire dream is within you. It's not outside. It is only your dream. Nobody is perceiving the dream other than yourself. When did you come to know? Only upon waking, not while perceiving. Even now, whatever you talk about, whatever you debate, whatever you describe, it is happening only in your consciousness, not somewhere else. And you assume and accept yourself to be a tiny form with certain shape and design. You are yet to know that you are beyond shape and design and you are infinite just now. Only to know the infinity in you, you are made to close your eyes now. Infinity cannot suffer because infinity is beyond matter. In infinity of consciousness, everything appears and moves and disappears. Nothing affects the infinity of consciousness. So at the conscious level, nothing affects you. You fail to remain conscious of yourself. So every movement, every object, every frame of the movie affects you. Because you never question from where all these things happen. You assume that you are different and the world is different. But for your consciousness, world cannot happen. In your consciousness only, world happens just now. Everything begins in your consciousness. Everything happens in your consciousness. Everything disappears in your consciousness. You are the supreme hero, but remain a beggar outside. Not knowing the richness within you. You contain everything just now. This can be known only by going inwardly. Why not you go inward and settle there? Which is preventing you? The moment you know that you are consciousness, the same moment you are relieved from the perceived show. Because this consciousness is prior to elements, and this consciousness knows its presence only very rarely by going inward. To go inward, you need not spend time. You need not spend money. You need not go anywhere. Simply closing eyes is enough. You are utterly relaxed inwardly. You need no effort to relax. Effortlessly, relaxation happens. Initially, you need to close your eyes. And know the peace within. Just now, you are hearing the sound. Sound happens and you are listening to the sound. From where this sound happens, you may describe some place. It is only at the surface level. Can this sound happen if you are not conscious? So only out of your consciousness the sound happens. Once you settle down inwardly and start knowing the peace within, even sound cannot affect you because it is not you. Let any sound happen, it is not you, just observe. In observation, you are free from identification. When you fail to observe, you are trapped. So, you never observe. That is why you are continuously trapped. Even now, you only observe the peace within. You are prior to peace. You observe the joy within. You are prior to joy. You, the observer, prevail prior to consciousness, prior to duality, prior to all objects. You are ever present here, but never know because you never observe. You see through identification. When you do not identify, you only observe. You observe, but you don't observe. Unless you observe, how can you describe anything? So you always observe, but you don't observe. This observation is beyond identification. But you identify and observe. That's why I say, though you observe, you don't observe. In your observation only everything happens. To the observer nothing happens. To know that nothing happens to you, you must know the observer within you. You never know that you only observe. In your observation only, entire world happens. All objects appear and disappear. Right from waking state till sleep happens, who observe other than you? Who can observe other than you? So you observe right from waking state up to sleep, but you don't observe. You identify, and get disturbed because you are at the surface level. When you do not observe, you are at the surface level, caught by every events. When you observe, you are not trapped. You are in your original state when you do not identify. First know that you only observe and you only observe. In your observation only every object comes, moves and disappears. So the source of observation is within you. And you are conscious, and in your consciousness only everything happens. The source of entire manifestation is within you. You contain the entire treasure within you, but you never know about your supreme richness, about your infinite potential, about the immense treasure, immeasurable treasure within you. Because you never go inwardly and stabilize consistently. You may do meditation for a few hours. Again, you are back to the pavilion. Again, you remain tensed. Only for a few hours, you remain relaxed. Meditation is only to know the peace within. How will you know the peace? When you identify things or objects. You remain peaceful only when there is no identification. Initially, to know the peace within, you are made to close your eyes. Now, when you close your eyes, there is no object within. So you cannot identify anything now, so you remain peaceful. The same way, even with eyes open, you can remain peaceful. You cannot miss the peace once your eyes are open. How you observe now? In your deep sleep also you are observing only like this. You are observing the dream only without identification. Silently you are observing. In a dream you may run here and there, but actually you are lying down in your bed. You don't run. You don't run out of the bed here and there while perceiving the dream. Because the observer is observing silently. Similarly, even now, you are observing silently with eyes closed. The same way, even when the eyes are open, you must observe silently. Then, in spite of objects in space, You simply observe and make use of anything or everything that is essential for you, and then rest of the time you observe silently. You are not affected once you start observing, but you do not know how to observe. When you observe, you will know there's neither past, not only there's nothing called past or future, but also the even present moment is moving fast. Only through observation, only in silent observation, you start observing even the present moment is moving faster. And the present moment itself is moving faster. What can you hold here to be real? Only the observer is the absolute reality. That is only you. You are that supreme observer beyond duality. To the observer, nothing has never happened. Only in the dream, so many things happen. You remain disturbed. But who is the observer of the dream? The observer is not inside the dream. The observer is prior to dream, lying down in bed. So the observer is already beyond dream. Even now, when you observe silently, free from identification, you are beyond dream. You are prior to dream. So the so-called dream never affects you. Know this deeply. I am not telling any story or fiction. I am waking you up. I can't make you sleep. You have slept enough. You means here consciousness, no person. Throughout the waking state, it is only sleeping through identifications. Only through observation, your consciousness wakes up. By observing silently, just now, you remain free from the perceived dream. Nothing affects you. Even the present cannot affect you. Leave the past and future, which do not exist. Even the present cannot affect you. I give you a guarantee. The present cannot affect you once you start know to observe silently. Now you are observing silently with eyes closed. Why not to observe in the same way, even with eyes open? You are observing. In your observation, something is going on. But you identify those happenings as yourself because you do not know all these movements, the entire show within space is only due to the play of elements. Where in your light of consciousness, this consciousness is light out of which various elements happen spontaneously and various objects are perceived spontaneously. You are neither the elemental interaction. You are not the elemental play. You only observe the play. Out of light only, whatever you term as quarks or photons or electrons, whatever it is, they all move at a greater speed and appear as zillions and zillions of objects. You never know that out of light only every object is happening here. So you are not doing anything, you are only observing right now. The entire show, the entire happening, the entire objects and their movements are not by you, you only observe. They all happen spontaneously, including your breathing. Your breathing is out of elemental interactions. Your heartbeat is out of elemental interactions. Entire metabolic activity is out of elemental interactions. Entire enzymatic activities out of elemental interactions. So they all happen spontaneously. You never do anything, you only observe. You only observe right from waking state up to sleep. Not only that, to go further still, you observe the waking state, you observe the sleep state, you observe the dreams in sleep also. You are in no way connected with the dream or movie. They happen just by the play of elements, by the interaction of the elements, by the movement of the elements at a greater speed. So you are not responsible for anything happening here. You only observe. Like how the dream happens. You move here and there, jump here and there, run here and there. You miss so many objects within a dream and you remain depressed or frustrated inside the dream. Once you wake up, you know that nothing has never happened, including your form within the space and all form within the space. All disappear. Nothing has happened. So the entire dream show is out of the light only. The slight ray of light, elements happen, play, and express itself as a beautiful dream. The very fundamental point is you never go to the source of yourself. You are at the surface level and seeking solution at the surface level. The solution is within, but you are seeking the solution outside. How can they tally? That's why no one can remain peaceful here constantly. Because only a few have the courage to dive deeply inwardly, to explore the source within. I can help you to dive deeply within yourself and to explore the source within. Because I am the source. I know what you are. That's why I'm expounding this knowledge to you. To you means to your consciousness. I know your consciousness at present, but trapped by the identifications. At the surface level, know this, all identifications are only at the surface level and your identification depend upon the object. But you never know, you identify things because you never know the subject out of which every object happens. Once you go to the subject inwardly and settle there, you remain free from identification. You remain free from the objects. So you remain peaceful. Inwardly there is nothing to identify. Even outside also nothing to identify. All identifications are only for utility. They are not you. You are yet to know yourself because you always move outside seeking solution for every conflict, not knowing from where they happen, but for your consciousness. Why not you remain conscious, go inwardly and settle there? By settling inwardly, your consciousness wakes up. By settling inwardly consistently, your consciousness wakes up totally. Then your consciousness knows there's nothing called birth or death, and whatever perceived as birth or death within space is only a dream. Because only upon waking up from the dream, your consciousness declares. Because now it knows it is only observer and not the observed. Because observed all disappeared like a dream once the observer is known. So it is your consciousness which remains struggling as it is not conscious of itself. So your consciousness which wakes up when? Only by going inwardly, and then finds out that nothing never happens to it. So I am not telling any story. I am not making you more asleep. I am waking up your consciousness to know your highest potential beyond birth and death, the highest reality, the highest reality beyond duality, that you are already that and always that. Never miss yourself. Know the supreme truth about yourself. I am here only to wake up your consciousness, only to make you aware of what you are exactly. First, remain conscious of yourself by going inwardly. Close your eyes and know the peace within. Rest happens.